for a shadow to take shape.
Well, happy Wednesday, and welcome to Dave's After Hours Trivia Club Live. Step inside the lounge, grab your drink of choice, and settle in. Here at Dave's After Dark, we stir up memories, test your smarts, and maybe, just maybe, teach you something new along the way. We do go live most Sundays and sometimes even on Wednesdays, like tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. The doors swing open, the lights go low, and the trivia flows. Tonight's show is a little bit art, a little bit history, and all interactive game show. We've got 3 brand new countdowns rolled into one smooth, music-centric late-night challenge. While our robots quickly paint each scene, I serve up the clues, and you will take your best guesses as we will move through tonight's 3 categories. First, the top 20 rock pop groups of the 1960s. Next, we'll visit the top 20 new wave and punk rock bands. That should be pretty fun. And finally, we'll do the top musical acts of the 21st century. This isn't just a trivia show, it's a fast-paced gauntlet of art, memory, and mystery. Let's see how many you can guess before the brush finishes the final stroke. Be sure to check in down in the chat, say hello, throw out your guesses, or just hang with the crew. If I spot a question, I'll do my best to work that in as we go. Hey, Rhombus, good to see you, man. Missed you a couple times. Glad to see you. Hey, Arena, what's going on? Anyway, if we're ready, we'll get started. It's all music tonight, so it should be pretty fun. First one's going to be top 20 rock pop groups of the 1960s. Some of them will be a little hard. Most of them will be pretty easy. Here we go. All right, well, you guys know the rules. Robots do the painting, you do the guessing. I drop the clues. Look what? Once again, this first one's going to be the top 20 rock pop groups of the 1960s. We'll start out a little tougher, but, who knows? We'll see. All right, number 20. These guys were made for TV band before they became chart-topping pop stars. Yeah, glad you're here for sure. They were often dismissed as a Beatle knockoff, but their fan base didn't seem to care. Who are these guys? I watched them every Saturday morning? Their songs were penned by hitmakers like Neil Diamond and Carole King, so they had some good songwriters. Their zany antics defined 60s TV comedy as much as their music defined bubblegum rock pop. Yeah, Rhombus, of course. Of course. You are correct. I'm a Believer became one of the biggest hits of the entire decade. I'm a Believer. Yeah, what were their names? What were all their names? Peter, Mickey, Davey. Who's the other guy? Mike? The Porpoise song. Okay. They had to fight for creative control, and they won, turning their TV gimmick into a legit pop stardom. The Monkees. Very good. All right. You know how the game is played? Here we go. Number 19. So it might be a little harder, although the band's well known. Their sound was pure sunshine, even if the world outside wasn't. They helped pioneer folk rock with warm, playful twists. Their lead singer once tried to join the Mamas and the Papas, but he got his own band instead. So, the lead guy tried to join the Mamas and Papas, but he got his own band instead. It looks so young. All these guys look so young. Summer in the City showed they had gritty urban side too. Summer in the City, remember that song? Their debut single asked, "Do you believe in magic?" So, do you believe in magic? And Summer in the City. Who remembers who this is? Popular songs. There they are. Young. This is The Loving Spoonful. The Loving Spoonful. There you go. Their name comes from a Mississippi John Hurt lyric, not a kitchen utensil. Oh, okay. Who knew? Not me. But Loving Spoonful. Big songs. All right, we're down to number 18. We're doing top bands of the 60s. Way back. Number 18. They loved bop as much as they loved rock. Okay. Their harmonies were haunting and their lyrics dreamy. They weren't big on stage presence, but their studio work was masterful. Okay. I would never get this one, I don't think. I mean, I've certainly heard of the band, but I would never get this. Odyssey and Oracle became a cult classic after they broke up. And then I think the biggest song may have been Time of the Season. Do you remember that? Time of the Season? It's still a staple of moody 60s nostalgia. Time of the Season was one of the hits that definitely defined the 60s. But who was that made that song? Time of the Season. Anybody know? It's a little more obscure, but interestingly enough, these guys are called the Zombies. The Zombies. They actually misspelled Odyssey on their most famous album, and they just rolled with that. The Zombies. Yeah. There you go. All right, I think you'll know these guys. Their guitarists were like Pokemon evolutions of British rock. Clapton, Beck, and Page. They experimented with distortion, feedback, and Eastern scales before it was cool. They were blues purists until they weren't. Yes. Doctor's in the house. How's it going, man? Glad you're here for the 1960s bands. They once turned a nursery rhyme into a rave-up rocker. Their alumni went on to form Cream and Led Zeppelin. Yeah, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I don't know if it's the best picture of them, but they were younger. You are correct. It is the Yardbirds. The Yardbirds. Clapton, Beck, and Page. Their legacy is less about their hits and more about who they gave to rock history. There you go. Everybody got their start with the Yardbirds. Coming in at number 17 on our top 20 list. All right, that takes us down to number 16. Now, this is an interesting group who I was not familiar with them as a band, I don't think, but I definitely heard of them. and I know their music. Now, they started as a surf band, but ditched the beach for a more Baroque pop sound. They weren't afraid of satire or absurdity in their lyrics. Eleanor was written to annoy the record label, but it became a hit. They sang one of the most singable choruses in pop history. Happy Together became their eternal funny signature. Happy together, happy together. Anybody remember that? Who is that? Not that you can tell, by the way. I sang it. Yeah, you guys both know. Very good. Excellent. It is indeed the Turtles. They weren't around too long. They were only around from 1965 to 1970. And the Turtles later sued De La Soul and won over a sample of a song. Somebody was copying their big hit. There you go, the Turtles. All right. Now, I actually remember this being one of my favorites in that time period. And I was very young. I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 years old, something like that. 10 years old? 12 years old, maybe. They were more squeaky clean than the Beatles, and America loved them for it. Their frontman had the face of a cherub and the accent of Manchester. I don't know a Manchester accent. I'm going to need to learn that. Their goofy charm made them TV darlings in the USA. Who's this? They had a hit about someone's lovely daughter and her mother. Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter. Remember that song? Yes, correct, Doctor. I remember the album, playing the album over and over. It was my mom's album. I remember playing it over and over. Was never meant to be a single. It just got too popular. Peter Noone was only 15 when he joined the band and became a British invasion heartthrob at the age of 15. There you go. Herman's Hermits. You are correct. There they are. They're number 15 on our list. Now this band had a cool name. Excuse me. They dressed like 1776, but rocked like 1966. Their TV performances were chaotic, energetic, and full of choreographed kicks. These guys were the big kickers. Their keyboardist shared a name with an American patriot. There's the key clue. Their keyboardist shared a name with an American patriot. Kicks was an anti-drug song before it was fashionable. They blended garage rock with revolutionary flair. Literally. Yes. Yes, Doctor. Yeah, there they are. In the revolutionary gear. Paul Revere and the Raiders is correct. You know, they started all the way back in 1958. And they went all the way through 1976. So they were around. They were the first rock band regularly featured on network TV with full revolutionary uniforms to boot. Well, that's why they put them on TV, right? Ed Sullivan or whoever. I don't know, were they ever on like Johnny Carson or something? I don't know. There you go. Paul Revere and the Raiders. Yeah, they were one of the 60s bands. So are these next guys. And my mom had this album as well. So there you go. Now, these guys were the Beatles' first serious chart rivals in the US. They had a driving, sax-heavy sound. And they had clean-cut looks. Something called Glad All Over kicked down the door for the British Invasion #2. And they did play the Ed Sullivan Show more than 15 times. So these guys were acceptable on Ed Sullivan. Who remembers who this is? They were the clean-cut version, right, of the Beatles. They turned foot stomping into a musical weapon. So yeah, they had their suit on and the guitar, and they would stomp the foot, right? You remember who this is? Clean cut. Their drummer was also their manager, producer, and their namesake. Talk about multitasking. So they were named after their drummer, their group name. This is the Dave Clark 5. Oh, good guess. Buckingham's. No. Dave Clark 5. Remember that, though? There you go. Dave Clark 5. All right. We're down to number 12. Moving on. We're not going to fret none. Next up. These guys were known for sweet, tight harmonies long before boy bands made it a thing. These were the first boy bands, sounds like. Their name was inspired by Buddy Holly, but their sound was uniquely British. Well, that's a key clue. Their name was inspired by Buddy Holly, but their sound was uniquely British. Graham Nash got his start with this band before going to CNS fame. Something called Bus Stop proved pop culture could be poetic and romantic. They stayed active for decades. Quiet Legends of Rock. Yeah, Doctor, you know who this is. Their name was inspired by Buddy Holly. That's a good clue. You are correct. This is the Hollies. Like they said, they stayed active for decades. That's cool. Their vocal stock was so precise, it could be mistaken for a barbershop quartet trapped in Carnaby Street. So they had tight harmonies. I'm not placing their music, but I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up after. The Hollies. Check it in at number 12. So even if you didn't know these bands for sure, the names are all familiar. You know, we've heard of them. Number 11. Now these guys brought raw blues grit to the clean world of the pop charts. Raw blues grit. Their singer's voice could melt steel, or at least tear up a microphone. Cool. They covered Lead Belly and made it a #1 hit. I don't know if you remember that from our blues segment on Blues Masters. Lead Belly. We Gotta Get Out of This Place became a Vietnam anthem. You remember that song? We Gotta Get Out of This Place? I'm not sure I could sing it. And then The House of the Rising Sun is their haunting legacy. Not Creedence. Not Creedence. There you go, Doctor. There you go, Doctor. We Gotta Get Out of This Place and The House of the Rising Sun. That's right, the Animals. The Animals. Eric Burdon never smiled on stage. I didn't realize that. And fans love that. The animals. There they are. Look like animals. It's funny how so many of the bands had animal names, right? This next one's no exception, except for a little different. Number 10. I don't know. That clue probably throws you off. That's my job. They started out as the Young Rascals, but quickly outgrew the young part. Well, that's an awfully good clue. They brought soul into the rock scene without losing their pop charm. Their Hammond organ sound was thick enough to spread on toast. That's a clue. Hammond organ sound was thick enough to spread on toast. Groovin' made Sunday afternoons into a vibe. Good Lovin' was their breakout, but far from their only hit. Yeah. Doggone. Look at those guys. They look like their name. Groovin' and Good Lovin'. Yeah. I certainly remember that. I can't. Gosh, I should have looked up the songs real quick so I could sing them for you guys. That would have helped, right? No. Despite their name, they were surprisingly wholesome. At least musically. Okay, the Rascals. Not the little rascals. These are the real rascals. Yeah, Hammond. It was. It was. That organ. Big in the Doors, too, right? Well, lots of groups. All right, number 9. Now, these guys didn't just play guitars, they weaponized them. They were banned from touring the U.S. for years by the U.S. They made suburban mundanity into lyric gold. Suburban mundanity into lyric gold. Lola danced the line of taboo and radio friendliness. Lola. I can't remember the rest of it. Lola. You Really Got Me gave distortion its first big break. There you go, Doctor. There you go. You really got me, babe. You really got me. That's almost passable. You are correct. It is the Kinks. The Kinks. They were banned from touring in the U.S. for years. They influenced punk, Britpop, and every band that ever rhymed misery and history. I should rhyme misery and history on my channel. The Kinks, there they are. Her name was Lola. Oh no, that's a different one. That's Barry Manilow. That's funny. That's funny. I had Barry Manilow in my head. These guys made Bob Dylan go electric, sort of. Their 12-string guitar jangle became the sound of a generation. They turned folk into rock and rock into country. How about that? Cool. Still got Barry Manilow in my head. They had a band lineup more rotating than a merry-go-round. Yeah, these guys kept changing people. Mr. Tambourine Man launched them into orbit. Well, so that's a good answer, but it's not quite correct. So some of these guys became Buffalo Springfield, right? but they also rotated through this band. This was all that. Oh shoot, Laurel Canyon in L.A. in Hollywood. They all lived up in the canyon. This is the Byrds. The Byrds, does that sound right? The Byrds. They basically invented folk rock, then abandoned it like a hippie moving to a commune. And yeah, because everybody played with them. But yeah, Steven and what's his name went on to do Buffalo Springfield. I don't like his politics anymore. Neil. Oh, the picture was Buffalo Springfield? Could be. Could have got it confused. But they did play with the Byrds. So that's probably why. That's probably why. Number 7. They first performed under the name Tom and Jerry. I didn't know that. Their music often sounded like poetry with a beat. Yeah, Neil Young. Yeah. They broke up more times than most couples. Sound of Silence was a quiet anthem that became deafeningly big. There you go. Bridge Over Troubled Water turned gospel into gold. Of course, Doctor. And I think they got the picture right on this. When those guys moved from group to group, you can see how they played in multiple bands. You can see how the Google would get the pictures confused. No doubt. They were soft-spoken giants until arguments started. All right, let's move on. This is a big group. Oh, speaking of groups where people moved around a lot, they were the original supergroup before it was cliche. Their live jams could last longer than some careers. That's cool. Eric Clapton's guitar work here became legendary. Of course. Doctor. Sunshine of Your Love had one of the most iconic riffs ever. Yes, it did. Sunshine of Your Love. Yeah. I don't know if I got that right. They brought blues to psychedelic frontier. Yeah, they got quite the outfits on there. They lasted barely 2 years, but their influence is still echoing through amplifiers. There you go. Cream. 1966 to 1968. They were not around long for a supergroup. Those are the outfits. Very colorful robot painting. All right, we're down to number 5. Number 5, this one will surprise you. This one. See if you can figure out who this is. Maybe I should give you no clue. No clue. They made surfing sound like the American dream, even for people in Kansas. I'm not sure I know what that means. Their vocal harmonies were tighter than a wetsuit. Brian Wilson was a genius, and maybe a little too genius for his own good. The robot's got some good clues today. Pet sounds confused the public, but inspired the Beatles. Correct. Robots. Do you recognize them? They went through, talk about a band that went through some different looks. All the same guys. They just looked like different people. Good Vibrations was their sonic masterpiece, pieced together like a puzzle. Good Vibrations. Talk about a song. Song for the ages. Definitely. They started with Beaches, but ended up rewriting the rules of pop composition. So what we need is like Siri to be set up as an AI where any song that we talk about on the show could pop up with a little riff, like a 15-second clip from that song. Wouldn't that be fun? I got to work on that. Seems like it should be possible. We'd like to hear the songs. Number 4, we're down. We're getting down on the list. Their singer thought he was a poet or a prophet or both. Their organ player gave them a sound nobody else had. Oh, I accidentally activated Siri by asking for her. That was bad. She's talking to me now. Their lyrics were dark, mystical, and often banned. Yeah, of course. Doctor. Riders on the Storm made thunderstorms sound philosophical. Light by Fire was banned and then embraced. Yes, of course. This is the Doors, and that is Jim on the bottom there, I think. As the painting finishes, I think it looks more like Jim. Jim Morrison wanted to break on through to the other side. Break on through. And he definitely left the door wide open. We have the robots full of puns and jokes tonight on their clues. Very good. Do an excellent job. The Doors, checking in number 4. There we are, Jim. Was it? Well, I can see that. I mean, I love Frank Sinatra, and I love the Doors. So there you go. All right, number 3. Number 3. This is a very young picture of these boys. They were the dirty contrast to the Beatles' clean image. Their blues influences were raw and unapologetic. Somebody's strut could be studied in physics class. I Can't Get No was a whole generation's battle cry. They still tour. Somehow, they still tour. I don't know if you saw, there was like a little, Instagram or TikTok clip of Mick dancing the other day. I don't know how old he is, but he was dancing. Yes, Rhombus. Yes, Doctor. We are talking about the Rolling Stones here. That is a young picture, is it not? They didn't just survive rock and roll, they became rock and roll. There you go. A Rolling Stone gathers no moss. No moss. No moss. That's something different. That's something different. All right, number 2. Number 2. They broke guitars like other bands broke records. The drummer was basically a fireworks display in human form. Like that. Tommy made rock opera a thing, whether we wanted it or not. There's the answer. My generation invented teenage angst in musical form. Stewart's in the house. Welcome back. Their concerts were loud enough to register on the Richter scale. Yes, indeed. Their equipment budget was probably larger than their catering budget. Well, I hope so. Quite a picture of them. Again, very young, very young. You are correct. It is the Who. Who? Who? It's the Who. All right, the gang's all here. We've got plenty more music to go. So hang in there. As the Who checks in at number 2 on our top 20 bands of the 1960s. So we all know who number 1 is. I think they changed everything. And then they changed again. They did change. They conquered America, then the world with mop tops and melodies. Each album was a new reinvention, from pop to psychedelic to protest. Hey Jude, Let It Be, A Day in the Life, pick a classic, any classic. Their breakup was mourned like a royal divorce. The bloody Beatles. Yesterday we missed you for a couple shows, 3 shows. We had a lot of fun, but we did miss you. And Rhombus too. Rhombus is back tonight. Glad you guys are here tonight. Were you guys on vacation together? They weren't just a band, they were a global event with a killer soundtrack. There you go. The robots are on point with clues tonight. Just a heads up. There they are. Once again, a very young picture. Very young picture. Cool. Very cool. Okay, well, obviously you guys did awesome at that category. That was too easy for you. Next one will be a little tougher because, kind of new wave and punk didn't last very long and the bands didn't get as big. So we'll see how you do. Taking care of business. Well, you got to do that, every once in a while. I used to do that. I just screw around. All right, you guys ready to do some new wave? Here we go. You guys certainly know the rules. Robots do the painting, you do the guessing, and I give the clues that confuse you along the way. Okay, once again, we're going to be doing the top 20 new wave and or punk bands. So I mixed them all in together. Okay? Punk and new wave is together, whether you like it or not. All right, starting out at number 20. It's kind of half UK, half US. Okay? Pretty equal opportunity. Now, these guys were one of the first UK punk bands to land on mainstream charts. They wrote a song from the perspective of a murderer. Cheery stuff. Their frontman went by the name TV Smith. Yeah, the safety pin would help you, I think, quite a bit. No, it's not the Boomtown Rats. They were raw, political, and deeply DIY. Gary Gilmore's eyes made people squirm and listen. Their frontman was named TV Smith. Anybody know? Their punk attitude was bigger than their career span. and their eyeliner game was strong, which was important. UK band only lasted from 1976 to 1979. And I'll tell you what, this is the only one on the list I never heard of. This is called the Adverts. The Adverts. Anybody heard of them? Stuart? Ever heard of the Adverts? Or are the robots pulling our legs here? Maybe. Now, you already know this one from the picture. Number 19. They believed society was moving backward, not forward. Their outfits looked like Lego spacesuits. Very good. Very good, Doctor. No, so Stuart, you had heard of them. That's good. So the robots aren't pulling our legs. These guys blended synth pop, satire, and strange dancing into one glorious mess. They didn't cover satisfaction, they dismantled it. Here's my favorite. Whip It made them a one-hit wonder until people heard the album, and then they weren't only one hit anymore. Yes, Steve-O. Now, the band is quite a bit bigger than this, but that's all that would fit in the picture. So there's other band guys that aren't in the picture. Devo is, of course, correct. Devo proved that nerds could rock, especially if they wore flower pot hats. Devo, get this, 1973 to the present. They're still around. There you go. Devo. You guys like Devo? That was pretty cool. They had some cool songs. Everybody was so different back then. All right, number 18. Now, this one's a little more West Coast niche, LA niche, but huge. This was a big band. You know how LA bands are. They're real trendy. These guys helped invent the West Coast punk sound. Their lyrics were more beat poetry than beer chants. They were fronted by two vocalists who were married when they started the band, and then they weren't married after they started the band. Los Angeles showed punk had a literary soul. They were punk with a country twang somehow. Doctor! It isn't too niche for the doctor. There you go. They made chaos sound beautiful and heartbreak sound like rebellion. Gotta turn things around. X is indeed correct. X. They started in 1977, and the robots tell me they're still touring today. X. There you go. Glad to see some of these bands are still around. That's cool. They're not all dead, like some of them. All right, we're down to number 17, punk and new wave. Top 20. This band came from Northern Ireland and brought catchy joy in a tough time. Their singer had a voice like a punk Buddy Holly. Another Buddy Holly clue. They weren't political, just obsessed with teen heartbreak. Stuart! Very good. John Peel called one of their songs his all-time favorite. Teenage Kicks is their perfect eternal anthem. Teenage Kicks. I'm not placing it, but I'm sure I've heard it. You are correct. It is the Undertones. The Undertones. Now, they were around from 74 to 83. 74 to 83. They reminded us that punk didn't have to be angry. It could just be young. I guess that makes sense, that you can just sound young. You don't have to sound angry. The Undertones. There they are. Irish. Irish. Northern Irish. All right, we're down to number 16. Top 20 punk and new wave bands. These guys, their name caused as many headlines as their lyrics. Yeah, it's quite a catchy name. Their singer, Jello Biafra, ran for mayor of San Francisco. Their mixed surf guitar with savage political takedowns, Holiday in Cambodia, was a middle finger in music form. Okay. Their live shows were part protest, part punk sermon. Doctor, very good. Very good. You are correct. Dead Kennedys. Dead Kennedys, 1978 to 1986. A lot of these bands may have made appearances after that in different forms, but I'm trying to give you the main years. They may have started more political arguments than any other band and enjoyed every one of them. Okay. Yeah, Stuart, you got it. Everybody knows it's the Dead Kennedys. There they are. Looks just like them. Not sure what that means, but okay. All right, we're down to number 15. Now, I've heard of this next band, but I'm not sure I can place the music. We'll see. Cool name for a band. They were at punk's beginning, but quickly veered towards the shadows. This band's been around from 76 to 96, so 20 years. Their front woman looked like a goth Cleopatra. There you go. It's the goth Cleopatra band. They influenced everyone from The Cure to PJ Harvey. They turned punk into eerie, elegant art. Cities in the dust dance through ruins, literally. Anybody know who this is? Pretenders is a good guess. Oh, Doctor has it. There you go. Yeah, nice. Susie and the Banshees. And Susie is spelled really weird, like a Sioux Indian. Yes, you have the spelling correct, actually. Very good. Very good, Doctor. Susie Sue proved that spooky could be stunning. So was she one of the first goth type people? I don't know. Maybe. Could be. Now this next band's huge. I actually saw them on kind of their comeback tour. Oh no, it was probably her solo tour. So it was a little after their main run that I saw. I saw them in a small place, kind of like Dave's After Dark. They started in punk, but ended up inventing new wave. This is the inventors of new wave. Their singer became an icon, and not just for her cheekbones. I guess she does have good cheekbones. It's not the first thing I noticed. They brought disco and hip hop into CBGB. Not Talking Heads, not Pretenders. There you go, Rhombus. Rapture dropped one of the rap's earliest major label moments. Yeah, Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry was punk's first cover girl and a rule breaker to the core. Yes, I could attest she's a rule breaker. At the show I went to, it was called the Coach House, and you sat at these long tables where you actually had dinner first, and then lots of beer and whatever, whiskey, whatever. She came running down the table, off the stage, onto the table, kicking off everybody's drinks and stuff. And she had a really short skirt. And I won't say anymore. All right, number 13. So I'm not remembering this band real well, but I've heard of them. Their guitar solos were more jazz than punk. Their debut album sounded like nothing else in the 1977. CBGB was their playground and their launch pad. Yes, I felt lucky when I was at that concert. She was pretty cool. They made long songs into a scene obsessed with short ones. Marquee Moon became a post-punk masterpiece. Mr. Artie. This is not the Monkees. We did the Monkees, though. You missed the Monkees on the 1960s category earlier. This is new wave and punk, which I guess we could call the Monkees kind of punk. Doctor had it. I skipped over the correct answer. You are correct, Doctor. Television is the correct answer. They didn't yell, they shimmered, and punk made room for it. There you go. We're done at number 12. We got a bunch more to go. Now, I gotta admit, I've never heard of these guys, but I'm sure I've heard of the music. They mixed punk, urgency, and funky grooves, and Marxist theory. Their bass lines could incite a riot or a dance party. Their debut album sounded like a factory revolution. Damaged goods turned relationships into manifestos. They inspired 1,000 bands and a few economics professors. Doctor, how'd you know that one? If Karl Marx had a house band, this would be it. You are correct. Gang of Four. Gang of Four. Can you hum a few bars? I'm not remembering this. Damn it, damaged goods. Were they Marxists? Or just the name, Gang of Four? Yeah, I don't know how you knew that one. Wow. All right, well, that means we're almost halfway home. Number 11. Number 11. Now, I've heard of these guys, but not super familiar with their music. They were punk, but romantic about it. That sounds curious. Their songs were fast, catchy, and heartbreak heavy. Ever Fallen in Love was emo before emo existed. Pre-emo. pre-emo. They combined Ramones' speed with Beatles' melody. So just take, Ramones and Beatles. The records were like love letters written in all capitals. Stuart. Did you recognize the picture? Because those clues were pretty generic. Although maybe ever fallen in love, you might know. You are correct. The Buzzcocks. That's correct. They were around from 76 to 81. No one made punk this catchy, and few ever tried. Yeah, few ever tried. The Buzzcocks, cool name, right? Pete Shelley. There they are. Cool name, Buzzcocks. Like it. All right, top 10. Here we go. Another UK band. Don't know if I can take all this UK. They were the first UK punk band to release a single. So early punk. 76. They beat the Sex Pistols and the Clash to record shelves. So they were before the Sex Pistols and the Clash. They were loud, fast, and fond of horror movie imagery. So their name kind of is associated with that. New Rose was punk's starting gun in Britain. That was the first song, New Rose. Their sound helped launch goth rock also. Doctor! Between the three of you guys, you're getting it all. You're getting all of them. Very good. Very good. The Damned. The Damned. Good name. I've heard of them. I'm not sure I could place the music. They were punk's first out of the gate, and possibly the first to wear eyeliner while doing it. So they're the damn ones that started the eyeliner thing. Does that sound right? Correct. The Damned. All right, let's get back to the good side of the pond. These guys were cool. I have a little bit of a story about these guys. They came out of the art school wing of punk. Yeah, supposedly the lead singer and the writer and the leader of this band was an architect, supposedly. Their singer sounded like a paranoid professor at a dance party. He does sound like a paranoid professor. They turned funk and minimalism into a new language. The picture kind of gives this one away. Psycho Killer is still an unsettling classic. Once in a lifetime felt like a nervous breakdown you could groove with. Correct. Do you remember the leader's name? What's the leader of lead singer of the Talking Heads? Do you remember his name? I think he was either an architecture student or a full-fledged architect before doing the band. Close. It is David Byrne, right? Byrne. So very close. Yeah. Byron. David Byron. There you go. Well, that's your voice thing. Number 8. Talking Heads, a good band, right? Definitely good band. All right. These guys combined punk with rockabilly, horror, and camp. Sounds like a good combination. Their live shows were sweaty, spooky, and slightly dangerous. They made the B-movie aesthetic a music genre. I can see that. But that's in the house. Oh, Kiss is in a different category. We are in new wave and punk. I like this clue. They made the B-movie aesthetic a music genre. Human Fly buzzed with low-budget brilliance. They basically invented psychobilly. Misfits, good guess. Misfits, good guess, but incorrect. Anybody remember this band? If Frankenstein threw a sock hop, the Blanks would headline. If Frankenstein threw a sock hop, yeah, Doctor, very good. The Cramps. What a name. What a name. Hey, the gang's truly all here now. Good to see you guys. We need the king. We'll have the full house. All right, now this next one, number 7, I've never heard of. So you guys don't have to help me with this. Their sound was cold, haunting, and deeply human. Well, maybe that's why I never heard of them. Their frontman struggled with epilepsy and poetry. Bad combination. Their drummer made minimalism feel massive. Love Will Tear Us Apart became their bittersweet legacy. They laid the foundation for goth and post-punk. These guys are at the end of punk. Doctor, what's the word? You guys know these guys. Very good. They never smiled, but it changed everything. Joy Division. How'd you know that? You guys Romans do it too. So why did I never hear that? I'm just too old. Ian Curtis. I guess I'm just too old. I don't know. Wasn't hip enough. I thought it was pretty hip. Not hip enough. They check in at number 7 on our list, so pretty high up, right? Joy Division. He's launching those satellites as fast as he can. Hopefully he'll fill in all the gaps. Increase the capacity, which will increase the speed. All right, this is one of my favorite bands in college. Going to college parties, I would take this album with me. This would get the girls dancing. Their songs were polished, but pulsing with weirdness. The lead looked like a rock star built in a lab. They bridged the gap between punk's edge and pop radio's demands. Just what I needed, nailed the formula, and then reinvented it. They brought synths into the garage. Here's a good guess, but not The Cure. They were the smoothest thing to come out of the new wave. And the quirkiest, Doctor! Rick Ocasek. Rick Ocasek looked like a rock star built in a lab. Yes, Stuart. The Cars. The Cars. Oh, yeah. They were around for quite a while. 76 to 88. Not bad. There they are, and pink's the right color for them, I guess. You remember the first album with just the lady's face with a steering wheel? And she had like really bright red lipstick. Yeah, that defined new wave. All right, number 5. This was one of my favorites from that era because it was different, very different. but cool. They dressed the same, played the same, and changed the world. Their songs rarely hit 3 minutes, but they stuck in your brain forever. Yes, it did. Blitzkrieg Bop was punk's battle cry. They toured endlessly, whether or not anyone showed up. They did everything fast, except get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Robust. Stuart. You guys are correct. They weren't brothers, but they made punk feel like family. That's right, they weren't really brothers, but people thought they were. They looked and sounded so much the same. Yeah, there were some great songs, weren't there? Hey, gabba gabba, hey, I just met a nurse I could go for. I don't know. Not singing that very well. The Ramones check in at number 5. Number 5. All right, only 4 more. 4 more new wave punk groups. Now, the Robots obviously think highly of this woman. She brought Rimbod to the Bowery. Horses wasn't just an album, it was a manifesto. She blended punk, poetry, and raw emotion. Nope, not Pat Benatar. She snarled and whispered in equal measure. She opened the door for women in punk to be more than muses. Not Pat Benatar. That's right. In punks, often the women are portrayed as muses. But not this one. The Doctor has it. Horses was the key clue, right? That was her big album. Patti Smith. Patti didn't play by punk rules. She wrote her own rules. Patti Smith. Not Patti Smythe. Now, Patti Smythe was with the band. What was the band called that she was with? Forget. How soon we forget? This is Patti Smith. Patti Smith Group, 1974 to 1979. Not a long run. Not a long run at all. All right, we're down to the top 3. Can you guess what, before we even do them, what the top 3 are? Bet you could. You thought about it. These guys were proto-punk before punk had a name. Proto-punk. Their frontman invented stage diving and shirtless chaos, which was important. Their songs were as primal as the caveman's drum circle. I Want to Be Your Dog was disturbing and perfect. Doctor! She was married to John McEnroe, the tennis player? Is that who you're talking about? I get it. Was it? They were a commercial flop and a spiritual blueprint. Yeah, this is the Stooges. And who is the lead for the Stooges? Anybody know? He's still performing, I think. I'm pretty sure. The lead guy looked like he was 80 when he was like 40. Yes, promise. Iggy Pop. Okay, top 2. All right. These guys only had one album, but it was a detonation. They swore on live TV, and they broke up right in the middle of their first tour. It didn't last long, but they burned brighter than most. Anarchy in the UK made Parliament nervous. Yes, Robin. You got it. God Save the Queen got banned, but it went number 1 anyway. So that's punk. Never mind the bullocks. Johnny Rotten. Yeah. And this is the example of the Muse, right? He had the girlfriend that was a big part of the band. Johnny Rotten. They were punk's most glorious mess. There you go. Sex Pistols. 75 to 78, so they did last 3 years. You can't beat that. Now, the number 1 is a band that I have seen in person at something, I forget what the things were called. Big concert out in San Bernardino Valley, Southern California. They were the lead for the New Wave Day. They mix punk with reggae, ska, funk, and heart. Their songs were protest anthems with power chords. I used to play this album, or when we get to it, I'll tell you which album. Yes, it's The Clash. So I used to play Rock the Casbah. Always. I mean, what was it? The first 2 or 3 songs on that album were a big part of my pre-party tape. Everybody's used to have a pre-party tape, right? You had your pre-party, your party, and your post-party tapes. Clash was always pre-party tape, for sure. They weren't just the only band that mattered. They made sure you believed it. They meant what they played, every last word. London Calling was the sound of the future and the past. They made rebellion sound noble and catchy as hell. That's the part I like, catchy. Yes, The Clash. There they are. Kind of a different picture of them. All right, well, you guys did stellar at that category. Really stellar. You guys knew your punk and new wave. All right, what's that leave us? Maybe our least favorite category. We're going to do top 20 musical acts of the 21st century. What I find interesting is, you know, we've done shows where we did the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and all that stuff. And it was always mostly focused on bands, right? But now when you get to the 21st century, it's almost always solo acts. Although not always, but often solo acts. So anyway, enough philosophy. All right, you know the rules. Robots paint, you guess, and I give the clues. Let's play. Now, again, we're going to do the top 20 musical acts of the 21st century. So it could be a band or it could be a solo act. It's the act, musical act. Number 20. Excuse me. All right, here we go. She was discovered at the age of 12 and ruled the charts by the time she was 16. Her debut album sounded like a whisper turned into a movement. She doesn't do typical pop star things like smiling a lot. Royals mocked luxury while earning her a Grammy. Who knows? Her follow-up, Melodrama, made heartbreak sound like high art. Doctor, Rhombus. I guess Rhombus had it first. Doctor, you are both correct. New Zealand gave us hobbits and a minimalist pop queen. She's a minimalist. The outfit looks kind of minimalist. Lord, am I saying that right? Lord, not Lord A. Lord. I'm familiar with Royals. That's a catchy tune, for sure. She checks in at number 20 on our top 20 musical acts of the 21st century. So she's pretty big. Number 19. She recorded her breakout music in a bedroom, not a studio. She made whisper singing cool and creepy. Whisper singing. Whisper giving. Her fashion choices say anti-pop star, but her charts say otherwise. Correct. You guys all got this one. Rhombus, Doctor, Stewart, Madam. Bad guy flipped pop structure on its head, then stomped on it. She swept the Grammys at the age of 18. Wow, that's quite a hair color. She conquered the world before most people graduate high school. Billie Eilish, born in 2001, a true 21st century woman. There you go, Billie Eilish. I guess I'm familiar with her song. I mean, you know, you can't not hear her songs, I guess. So, there you go. Pretty good. And she checks in at number 19. So now I know this guy. He did the Super Bowl. He started mysterious with no face and no interviews. Gotta remember that. His voice sounds like heartbreak in outer space. He brought 80s synths back, but in a big way. Blinding Lights stayed on the charts as long as it needed a parking pass. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me give that clue again. Blinding Lights stayed on the charts so long that it needed a parking pass. Yeah. I think we have to give this to Mandel because he has the full name, The Weeknd. Not just Weekend, The Weeknd. There he is, The Weeknd. You see, he was pretty good on the Super Bowl. You guys see him on the Super Bowl? Not bad for a Super Bowl show. Usually the Super Bowl shows are... He headlined the Super Bowl without special guests, just himself. He turned moody vibes into stadium anthems. There you go. Yeah, he got pretty big, didn't he? The Weeknd. The Weeknd. All right. Now, breaking the breaking the mold, we're going to do a group. These guys had quite a few big hits. They were the answer to Who's Keeping Rock on the Radio. Their choruses were built for sports montages and action movie trailers. So their choruses have been used in a lot of movies. They made the word thunder sound like an anthem. Critics rolled their eyes, but fans turned up the volume. Their sound is part rock, part EDM, and all energy. Any of those clues help out? Who's Keeping Rock on the Radio? Thunder. EDM. Okay, I'll give the giveaway clue. They didn't just imagine dragons, they released them on stage. Who knows? That's a pretty good clue. They didn't just imagine dragons. Oh, this doesn't fit in the category, Doctor. I didn't say rock. I said musical artists, musical acts of the 21st century. We're not doing just rock. I know you do want to do just rock, but we're not doing that. Imagine Dragons is correct. All right, well, they can't all be winners. Can't have 20 winners. We're gonna have some in this category you guys don't approve of. I guarantee that. I know you like the last category, so that means you're automatically not gonna like this category. Number 16, he's a rapper, but also a Pulitzer Prize winner. Okay, his lyrics read like literature and hit like gut punches. All Right became a protest anthem and a cultural movement. To Pimp a Butterfly fused funk, jazz, and revolution. He's been called the voice of a generation, and maybe two generations. Madame knows. You don't have to like it to know the right answer. You are correct. Now, I'm not familiar with all these either. Some of them, but not all of them. Kendrick Lamar. He made conscience and complexity cool in hip hop. There you go. Kendrick, is this the entertainer Kendrick, or is that a different guy? I don't know. But he won a Pulitzer Prize. So there's that. All right, you know this band. They started with slacker anthems, then tackled politics. American Idiot was both a rock opera and a mic drop. They gave punk rock a second mainstream life in the 2000s. Their eyeliner phase lasted longer than most marriages. They had an eyeliner phase. Are you guys familiar with that? They made angry sound catchy again. They turned Teenage Rebellion into Broadway material. Correct. You guys know it. Rhombus Stewart. They have quick fingers. Green Day is correct. Stewart's using that voice activated. Green Day. Kendrick Lamar. Who's that? All right, well, so, that kind of flies in the face of no groups, but it's an exception. Number 14. This lady went from island rhythms to global dominance. She had a hit in just about every genre: pop, R&B, EDM, and reggae. Umbrella turned rain into a career moment. She took a break to build a billion-dollar fashion empire. Yes, she did. From us. Took a little break to build a billion-dollar fashion empire. We're still waiting on that next album, though. All right, you guys all got it. Maddow. This is Rihanna. Umbrella. I can't remember. Got a catchy. Can't remember it. She's the only artist who can ghost the charts and still rule them. She made some money, huh? She's a rich 21st century musical act. All right, she checked in at number 14. So that takes us to number 13. Number 13 is another lady that's done well financially. She arrived wearing meat and singing about disco sticks. Her voice could conquer opera if it wasn't too busy conquering pop. She blended drag, theater, and chart toppers with no apologies. Bad Romance was both bizarre and irresistible. Correct, of course. Of course. She can headline Vegas or win an Oscar and probably do both on the same day. She made weird go mainstream and made it look fabulous. Poker face. Poker face. The Star is Born, right? That was the kind of the shocker. She was pretty good in that. You remember the award show where she showed up and they carried her in? She was inside of an egg, and then she came out. She was kind of like a bird kind of person, a bird person. Anybody remember that? She got carried in an egg. All right, number 12. He started from a wheelchair on TV. I don't know what that means. He blurred the line between rapping and crooning. He broke records like they were iPhones. Hotline Bling made dancing awkwardly cool. Yes, robots. You can tell by the picture, huh? Robots did good. Not by these clues. He basically lives on the Billboard Hot 100. He lives there. His music may be emotional, but his numbers are stone cold. Yeah, he's made a few dollars, huh? Degrassi High. There you go. Started from a wheelchair on TV. His music may be emotional, but his numbers are stone cold. I guess I told you that. Yeah, Drake. Number 12. Top musical acts of the 21st century. We're down to number 11. And we do have another group. This is, you either love them or you hate them. They began as soft rock poets and evolved into pop stadium kings. They made melancholia feel uplifting. Fix You could soundtrack 1,000 sad movie scenes. Fix You. They collaborated with everyone from Beyoncé to BTS. But you are Doctor, not Kings of Leon. I like that answer though. Some critics say they play it safe. Fans say they play it beautifully. They're the musical equivalent of a warm, glittery hug. The robots are on target. They're the musical equivalent of a warm, glittery hug. Coldplay. Everybody loves them, or you hate them. They're all yellow. All right, we're into the top 10 now. Getting serious. This should be 10 that you really hate. Right? I guarantee you most of them I'm correct. He started in the 90s, but dominated the 2000s with verbal acrobatics. His alter ego had a violent streak and a sense of humor. Lose Yourself became the only rap song to win an Oscar. He made autobiographical rage into a genre. He battled addiction, critics, and anyone else brave enough to fight him. There you go. You guys got it. Rhombus, Maddow. He's proof that a guy from Detroit with a notebook can go global. There you go. What was the movie that he did? His mom was like Kim Basinger. Does that sound familiar? 8 Mile or something. 8 Mile. That was a pretty cool movie. I kind of got the story. Yeah, story. You got it. Eminem. Not M&M's. Eminem. There you go. There he is, and he's number 10 on our list of top artists, musical artists of the 21st century. There you go. Oh, you're going to like the next guy even better. Number 9. Although there's a story going on about this guy currently, right? He was discovered on YouTube with a bowl cut and big dreams. Screaming teens made him famous, but he grew into the music. He turned heartbreak into R&B smoothness. Sorry became the ultimate pop apology. Yes, indeed. Looks like maybe Maddow got that one first. The Biebs. He's had one of pop's most surprising glow-ups. From baby to ballads, his evolution is its own playlist. P. Diddy. Yeah. Some things are coming out. Some things are coming out. Poor Justin. So I had a couple of nieces that were way into Justin Bieber. In fact, I think they still are. They're 30 years old, but I think they're still into him. Oh, number 8. Let's go. Oh, bye, Justin. See you later. You're number 9. Baby oil to ballads. Correct. That's what I meant to say. I think that's what the robots meant to say, and then they did. Number 8. She doesn't dance. She doesn't wear costumes. She just sings. She's still good. Her albums are named after the ages when she wrote them. Someone like you made an entire generation cry in public. Okay. She disappears between albums and sells millions anyway. Her voice could level buildings and heal hearts. She's the heartbreak queen you'd trust to babysit your soul. I like that. Correct, Madame. Rhombus, it is Adele. Adele. She's had some hits. She's had some hits along the way. She's quite a bit thinner now, right? She lost a bunch of weight. Adele doesn't dance. Doesn't wear funny costumes. She just sings. There she is. She's number 8 on our list. Now, I really don't know much about number 7 coming up. You guys will have to help me. Number 7. They're the biggest band in the world, and not in English. Their fan base army could probably start a nation. They blend K-pop, hip-hop, dance, and sincerity. Did I say that with sincerity? Their choreography is sharper than most resumes. Sharp choreography. They broke YouTube, Billboard, and language barriers. Now, how hip are you guys? You guys know who this is? You gotta be pretty hip. They're not a boy band. They're a cultural movement with a little bit of glitter. Apparently, they're huge. But you guys don't know who it is. They're number 7 on our list. Anybody know what these guys are called? I actually mentioned it earlier. They blend K-pop, hip-hop, dance, and sincerity. I like Blackpink. Now, Rhombus has it. BTS is correct. BTS. Who knew they were that big? Well, robots, apparently. This is a tougher category for us. We're kind of into the older. Number 6. I think you'll know this guy. He's just a guy with a guitar and a loop pedal. That's enough. He crashed onto the charts with a team and never left. Madame. His songs are wedding staples and karaoke nightmares. Yes. Shape of You became the streaming world MVP. He writes hits for himself and half the industry. Yeah, okay, everybody's getting it. Maddow Stewart, Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran. I gotta say it right. It's not Sheeran, it's Ed Sheeran. Yeah. He was only born in 1991. Not that old. He's the quietest superstar you'll never scream along to. I don't know what that clue means. Some of the clues are a little too clever for themselves. There he is. Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran. All right, we got 5 more. We can make it. We can make it. These next 2 aren't bad as far as artists go. This one started as a producer. No one took seriously as a rapper. Then he dropped the college dropout and changed everything. He's as famous for controversy as for creativity. Each album is a reinvention, sometimes chaotic, always interesting. Maddow. Each album is a reinvention. He made soul samples, fashion, and tweets into performance art. He may be unpredictable, but he's never irrelevant. There you go. All right, so Kanye West is right, but what does he go by now? What's his preferred name? I don't know who Ron Weasley is. Yay, of course. Yeah, yay. Kanye West. What a goofball. Okay. More money than brains. I guess he's a smart guy. I don't know. He's creative. All right. Number 4. I like this guy. Always liked different things he's done. He's done a lot of different things. He sings, dances, writes, and plays pretty much everything. His sound is a love letter to funk, soul, and old school cool. I think that's why I like him. Kind of got that Frank Sinatra vibe. Uptown Funk made everyone dance, even your uncle. He can channel Prince, Michael, or Elvis. Very good, Doctor. Sometimes all at once. I like that. His shows feel like a Vegas party in a time machine. So yeah, I mean, Bruno Mars is going to be the ultimate Vegas act, right? He needs to start his Vegas show and just stay there for like 10 years. He didn't bring back retro. He made it feel brand new. Yeah. Yeah, Bruno Mars. You're familiar with his, what's her name? Rose, the Korean gal that he did the pop hit with? Huge song, Bruno Mars. There you go. Okay, top 3. You know all these folks. This is a great picture of this guy. He started as a hustler and became hip-hop's billionaire mogul. He's been retired, unretired, and reborn, musically and financially. His lyrics are case studies in capitalism and craft. Yes, of course, Maddow Stewart. He helped make the streaming revolution, and he married a certain lady. 99 Problems made him a legend. Business made him immortal. He didn't just make hits, he built an empire. Yes, he did. Yeah, he's on the P. Diddy list. Wonder how all that's gonna shake out, huh? Because some things are starting to happen in the FBI and Trump Department of Justice. Things are starting to happen, I think. We'll see what happens with all that, huh? Number 3, Jay-Z. Jay-Z. Successful gentleman. Number 2. Can you imagine how much money these two have together? She was a Destiny's Child, but then became everyone's queen. Her live shows are studied like Olympic routines. She dropped Lemonade with no warning and changed music marketing. I'm not sure what that means. Her albums are visual experiences, not just audio. Of course. Check Matt out had it first. Matt out had it first. Mrs. Jay-Z. Her albums are visual experiences. She blends soul, power, activism, and couture. Yes, she does. She looks pretty good there. Yeah, not bad. Oh, better put a ring on it. Better put a ring on it. If music is royalty, she wears the crown and the choreography. Beyoncé. Queen Bee. So who's that lead for number 1? Who could be number 1? Kanye's favorite. She started with country curls and heartbreak ballads. Then she redefined pop twice. She's won Album of the Year 3 times. She writes everything, re-records everything, and sells out everything. She made vulnerability into a billion-dollar brand. Now, I do have a quick Taylor Swift story, too. I have stood right next to Taylor Swift for a little period of time. When she was quite a bit younger, she was already a country star, New York City. It was after 9/11, so I don't know what year it was. We were down in what's the name of the store that's down in Lower Manhattan? I don't know, right near Ground Zero. And I was in a department store, and she was shopping with her mom, and I was waiting for my group, my girls, and I was just hanging out on the Atrium Railway, and there she is coming up the escalator with her mom. There you go, Taylor Swift. Quite a few years ago. I don't remember what year, but quite a few, maybe 10 years ago. She didn't just tell her story, she turned it into a generational soundtrack. Try to throw in a little personal story when possible. It's nice to see all you guys back together again here tonight. It's nice. Yeah, I know that last category wasn't quite up to everyone's. If you want to do a bonus round, I do have a good category for you, but it's totally your choice. The bonus round would be the top 20 most popular rock pop bands of the 90s. So we did this maybe 4 months ago. So it's been a while. Um, 20 most popular rock pop bands of the 90s. If you want to do it, you guys let me know. No big deal. We can just talk if you rather. Oh, I see one thumbs up. Anyway, top 20 most popular rock pop bands of the 90s. There you go. FAO Schwartz. That might have been it. That might have been it. What are the other department stores in New York? That's probably what this one was. I think it was because it was almost right across the street from right between where the Bull is, the Wall Street, and yeah. All right, we've got a couple thumbs up, so I guess we're gonna go with the bonus round. Let's do some '90s music, more up your alley, right? All right. Well, you know the rules. Robots paint, you guess. I give the clue. Top 20 most popular rock pop bands of the 1990s. Here we go. This British band emerged during the post-grunge wave of the 90s. Their debut album, 16 Stone, became a defining record of the decade. They are led by a frontman who later married pop icon Gwen Stefani. Hits like Glycerin and Machine Head made them 1990s radio staples. Rhombus, Doctor, looks like Doctor got it first. And I don't know, Rhombus, maybe you got it first, but you spelled it wrong the first time. There you go, Stuart, everybody knows. Their name evokes nature and simplicity. Yes, it does. You are correct. It is Bush. They started in 1992. Despite their British roots, the band found much greater success in the United States rather than in the UK. And, you know, they were in tracksuit. I don't know, was that a thing back then in the 90s? Tracksuit. Don't know. Kind of weird. All right. I need a drink. Water, of course. This band's lead singer is known for his signature dreadlocks and poetic lyrics. They got their big break after performing on The Late Show with David Letterman. Their music often blends melancholy with storytelling, featuring hits like Round Here. This is not Hootie, although hang on to that. I think Hootie might be on the list here. Not sure. Here's the key clue. Oh, there you go. Ross already has it. Their song, Mr. Jones, was one of the most iconic tracks of the 90s. Mr. Jones. That's not the Me and Mrs. Jones. That's a different thing. Me and Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones. That's different. They're named after a nursery rhyme about bad omens. Yes, they are. You are correct. It is the Counting Crows. Counting Crows. Adam Duritz's lyrics are often autobiographical, giving fans a glimpse into his emotional world. All right, number 18. These are moving pretty quick. Can't be lollygagging with the clues. This British band was deeply rooted in psychedelic rock before their mainstream success. They are known for lush, sweeping soundscapes that defined the 1990s Brit pop? Rhombus. Their most famous song features an orchestral sample from a Rolling Stones track. Huh? The album Urban Hymns is often considered their magnum opus. Bittersweet Symphony brought them international fame despite legal challenges over the sampling. Sounds like everybody's got it. This is not Oasis, although Oasis may be on the list too, so hang on to that. I'm not sure. This is The Verve. You are correct. The Verve. Despite their success, the band's turbulent relationships led to multiple breakups. You know, bands. Can't live with them, can't live without them. This picture is Oasis? Hope not. I don't know. Could be. You know, robots make mistakes. Number 17. I think somebody gave this answer already. Now, these are local boys. This South Carolina band found massive success blending rock, pop, and a touch of country. Their lead singer transitioned to a successful solo career in country music. Their debut album, Cracked Rear View, is one of the best-selling albums of all time. Hits include Let Her Cry and Only Wanna Be With You. Yes, everybody knows it's Hootie. Darius Rucker. There you go. Hootie and the Blowfish. Despite their pop rock success, Darius Rucker's solo country albums also topped the chart. There you go. South Carolina. Local boys made good. All right. Well, they're number, what were they? Number 17. Hootie. Now, this one was one of my favorites. Number 16, one of my favorite bands of the 90s. I like 90s music. I do, I have to say. This pop punk trio is known for its irreverent humor and catchy melodies. They were a major influence in the skateboarding and punk subcultures. Their album, Enema of the State, propelled them to stardom in the late 90s. It's like What's My Age Again captured the spirit of the Teenage Rebellion. Not Sum 41. Their band name is rumored to have no significant meaning aside from being a joke. This is a San Diego band. That helps. Drummer Travis Barker's high-energy performances became iconic in live shows. I think you guys know what this is. I think we're just having some slow internet right now. Because I know you guys know this. There you go, Stuart. Your internet's going fast. Blink 182. You are correct. Blink 182. All right, we're down to number 15. I know you guys have been itching for this answer. This British band was central to the Britpop movement of the 1990s. Their music often draws comparison to the Beatles, whom they idolized. Their two lead members, who are brothers, became as famous for their feuds as their music. I like that. You guys all know this. Robin, Stewart, Doctor. Their anthemic hits Wonderwall, and Don't Look Back in Anger. Wonderwall. You're my Wonderwall. Ah, shoot, I can't get it going. The band's name evokes a serene, lush escape in the desert. You are correct. Oasis. Oasis. They're touring. How about that? At one point, their album, What's the Story? Morning Glory, sold over 345,000 copies in the first week in UK. What's the Story? Morning Glory. Oasis. Takes us down to number 14. Emerging from the Seattle grunge scene, this band became a symbol of alternative rock. I like this band. Their debut album, 10, featured deeply emotional lyrics and powerful vocals. They famously refused to make traditional music videos for many years. Songs like Alive and Jeremy remain grunge-era classics. Stone Temple Pilots, good guess. But the doctor has it. The band's name is said to come from a relative's hallucinogenic jam recipe. Now that's cool. That's about as good an origin story for a band name as I've ever heard. Pearl Jam has actively fought against corporate influence in music, including a high-profile boycott of Ticketmaster. Pearl Jam. There they are. If Oasis gets splits up, they don't get paid. Well, that's a bummer. That was a way to keep them together. They put it in the contract. All right, number 13. Their sound combines alternative rock with orchestral and electronic elements. Billy Corgan's distinctive voice and songwriting define their style. Albums like Siamese Dream and Melancholy and Infamous Sadness were critically acclaimed. Songs like 1979 and Tonight Tonight captured the angst of the 1990s. Their name reflects both a playful and destructive energy. Well, kinda, yeah. The band won a Grammy for the best hard rock performance for their song Bullet with Butterfly Wings. There you go. Smashing Pumpkins. Smashing Pumpkins. Gotta pronounce that second P. Pumpkins. Yeah, Bill Burr's brother. Right. They haven't verified that though, right? They still haven't. I don't think they've still verified that, have they? I don't think so. They're afraid to do the DNA or something. Number 12. They were among the first alternative rock bands to gain mainstream success. Their music is known for its cryptic lyrics and jingly guitar sound. The 1990s brought their biggest hits like Losing My Religion and Everybody Hurts. Let me tell you what these guys look like here. The band renamed highly influential while staying politically active. Oh, sorry. The band remained highly influential while staying politically active. Their name references a sleep cycle. Yes, it does. You are correct, Robus. Rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement. You could have just named it that. Rapid eye movement. not quite as catchy, I guess. Losing My Religion was one of the first major hits on MTV's Unplugged series. Okay. Okay. REM. Correct. They're checking in at number 12 on our countdown. Now the next one's going to make it their second appearance on our list. I think they made the new wave list. So they've been around a while. This trio helped bring punk rock into the mainstream during the 90s. Their breakthrough album, Dookie, is considered a modern punk classic. Their music often focuses on themes of teenage angst and rebellion. Hits like Basket Case and When I Come Around were anthems for Generation X. Yeah, correct. Correct you are. Correct you are. Rhombus, Madame, Doctor. This is Green Day. The band's name comes from a slang term for a lazy day spent smoking marijuana. Did you know that? That's what that means. A slang term for a lazy day smoking marijuana is a Green Day. I did not know that. In 2010, the band's American Idiot album was turned into a Broadway musical. So there you go. They got that going for them. Now, the next one's got the cool name. Top 10 we're going to do now, okay? Tired of those 20 through 11. We don't need none of that. Top 10. This band combines upbeat rock with deeply emotional lyrics. Their breakout hit, Semi-Charmed Life, became a radio staple in the 1990s. Other hits, like Jumper and How's It Going to Be, define their introspective style. They were particularly known for blending catchy melodies with heavier subject matter. Anybody know this? But their name references a metaphysical concept of perception. They got a cool name. Their name references a metaphysical concept of perception. Lead singer Stephen Jenkins was also a vocal advocate for mental health awareness. Yeah, there you go, Dr. Third Eye Blind. Kind of a cool name. Third Eye Blind. All right, we're down to one of my favorites at number 9. Coming up. One of my favorite bands from the 90s. Their debut album, Yourself or Someone Like You, became a 12-time platinum hit. Rob Thomas's soulful voice is central to their sound. Hits like 3 a.m. and Push brought them global fame. Their music blends pop, rock, and hints of country influences. Their name was inspired by a shirt design seen by one of the band members. Anybody know? It's one of my favorite bands from the 90s for sure. Rob Thomas co-wrote Santana's massive hit Smooth, which won multiple Grammys. Doctor, you are correct. Matchbox 20. Matchbox 20. 3 a.m. Yeah, I used to play this music pretty loud. Pretty loud. I got a good story about that. Someday I'm going to tell that story. Number eight. This Irish band's music combined alternative rock with traditional Irish influences. They're known for hauntingly emotional lyrics and melodies. Dolores O'Riordan, iconic voice, set them apart from 1990s bands. Hits like Zombie and Linger. Let it linger, don't let it linger. Is that the one? Remain iconic to this day. Don't let it linger, or let it linger. I can't remember. Dolores O'Riordan. Not you too. Yes, there you go, Robin. Yes, Zombie and Linger. Oh, did she pass? I didn't know that. Zombie was written in response to the IRA bombings in Warrington in 1993. Cranberries. You are correct. Dolores O'Riordan. All right. Cranberries. Down to number 7. You probably know these guys. This band was founded by a former Nirvana drummer. Their debut album was largely recorded solo by the guy in the middle there, Dave. They became one of the most prominent rock bands of the late 90s. There you go. Almost, Stuart. Dave. Hits like Everlong and My Hero. My Hero. I didn't like it when Trump was using that during his campaign, right? He always plays My Hero. Oh, that's funny. Their name comes from a term used by World War II pilots for UFOs. But I think they licensed all that music for the venues and stuff, so they can do it for any event that the venues have. So they have a license for it when Trump plays it at his rallies. Their name comes from I already said that. Dave Grohl wrote Everlong in just 45 minutes during a studio session. Foo Fighters is, of course, correct. You guys are right. A World War II phenomenon is how they got their name. Cool. Always good to know how they got their name. All right. Her breakthrough album, Jagged Little Pill, became a global phenomenon. Speaking of phenomenons, Rhombus, songs like You Ought to Know and Ironic were defining moments of the 90s. Her emotional, raw lyrics gave her a reputation as a voice for the disenfranchised. Correct, you are, Rhombus. How did Alanis get her name? Do we have any backstory on that? Though a solo artist, her live band played an essential role in her tours. She started her career as a pop star in Canada before transitioning to rock in America. Alanis Morissette is correct. At number 6, I imagine her parents gave her name, but could be wrong. Jagged Little Pill remains one of the best-selling albums of all time. All time. There you go. Canadian content quota. Gotta get that. You know these guys. This band blends funk, rock, and alternative in their signature sound. Their bassist, Flea, is considered one of the most innovative players of all time. They skyrocketed to fame in the 1990s with the album Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. Hits like Under the Bridge and Give It Away, Give It Away, Give It Away became cultural staples. Their name is a fiery play on words that evokes energy and heat. Yes, energy and heat. Rhombus, Stewart. There they are, the Chili Peppers. That's them. The band's wild onstage antics and shirtless performances became iconic in the 90s. Chili Boys. Yes. Yes. But all the girls tell me. At least they used to. I try to lay low now. Here we go. Number 4. This band began as a straightforward rock group, but quickly pushed musical boundaries. Their breakthrough hit, called Creep, defined early 90s alt-rock despite initial backlash from the band itself. The album OK Computer is widely regarded as one of the best of all time. They often explore themes of alienation, technology, and dystopia in their music. Their name was inspired by a Talking Heads song. Rumba! So now we know where their name came from. Radiohead. Despite their experimental sound, Radiohead has remained consistently popular, amassing a huge global following. Huge. Next up, this ska punk band was led by a platinum blonde powerhouse vocalist. Excuse me. Their breakout hit, Don't Speak, dominated charts around the world. The album Tragic Kingdom became a defining record of the late 90s. They blended ska, punk, and pop influences for a distinctive sound. No doubt! I have absolutely no doubt that you'll get this one. Rhombus already has it. Gwen Stefani's unique style helped popularize the punk-inspired fashion of the 1990s. Okay, that's hard. Punk-inspired. Oh, punk-inspired. It's just the word got put together. Harder to read. Punk inspired would be easier to read. No doubt. Absolutely no doubt. All right, we're down to the top two. Top two 1990s bands. One of my favorites. Still love some of this music. Still like to crank this stuff. This band was the face of the grunge movement and revolutionized rock music. Their second album, Nevermind, changed the trajectory of 1990s music with its mainstream success. Their frontman is remembered as It's a cultural icon and a tragic figure. Right you are, Madao. Robes. Songs like Smells Like Teen Spirit became anthems for a generation. I love that song. It's just got a grungy feel to it. Their name reflects peace and enlightenment, an ironic contrast to their raw sound. Yeah, it is kind of ironic. Nirvana's MTV Unplugged performance. Did you guys see that? I remember seeing that, and I was pretty blown away by it, but I didn't realize it would become such a classic. Nirvana's MTV Unplugged performance remains one of the most celebrated live recordings ever. It was cool, very cool. If you didn't see it, try to check that out sometime. On MTV Unplugged performance. Yeah. Oh, I remember this now. We're going to be very disappointed in number one. You remember being disappointed? While more pop than rock, this boy band became a global phenomenon in the 90s. Their harmonics and synchronized dance moves set the standard for 1990s boy band. The boy band. It's Like I Want It That Way, and everybody dominated the charts. They were the first group since Led Zeppelin to have their first 10 albums reach top 10 on the Billboard 200. They were the first group since Led Zeppelin to have their first 10 albums. I already said that. Their name evokes an image of youthful camaraderie and urban culture. Correct, you are. Not Guns N' Roses, although that would have been our favorite. Guns N' Roses wasn't in the 90s. They were in the 80s. I think we had Guns N' Roses in the 80s. They should be in the 90s. Definitely. The Backstreet Boys remain one of the best-selling boy bands of all time, with over 130 million records sold worldwide. Yeah, I remember we were very disappointed when this one came up as number one. I think the robots were yanking our chain. We respect them for that. We do. All right. Well, that was pretty fun. I'm glad to have you guys all back in the room together. that was more. It's more fun that way. I don't know what we're gonna do on Sunday, but it'll be something fun. I'm trying to keep it as lively as possible. I know one of them's gonna be top comedy movies of all time. I know that'll be one category. And then one other category I was thinking about doing. Now you guys have to tell me whether you're familiar with this at all. You know, I'm trying to get my channel to go in a little bit of a mysterious way, almost like one of these nighttime call-in shows where the caller talks about something with aliens, or it could be the Graham Hancock stuff, that kind of thing. So one of the categories I was thinking is top 20 things from the old Art Bell radio show, top 20 shows that he ever had, top 20 topics that he had on his radio show. I don't know. Would you guys be into that, or that would be too much? Yeah. I've got a top 20 film noir list. We could do that for sure. I've got that going. I've got that one going. What else? You guys got any other clever ideas? Are we running low on ideas? I don't think we are. I don't think we're running low on ideas. I think we can just keep going. We have tons of ideas. Like top worst movies of all time. That would be good. I think worst movies would be excellent. That would be a good category. One that was going to be hard that I was trying to figure out how to do was the top discoveries of the James Webb Telescope. I'm not sure how to pull that off yet. Top 20 figures in Russian history. Where was Alex tonight? We didn't have Alex. That's kind of a bummer. We could do, yeah, we could do worst bands of all times. Most campy bands or something. I don't know. We'll figure out a way to do that. Oh, what do I got? Top figures. These are the boring ones. This is why we haven't used these yet. Top figures of the Middle Ages. Oh, but I think you guys would like top 20 battles that changed the world. That might be something you'd like. Top 20 battles that changed the world. Maybe. Maybe, sort of. Maybe, kind of. Oh, I don't know. I got all kinds of them. I got all kinds of ideas. Top 20 coaches in pro sports. I don't know if you'd like that or not. We did top 10 iconic cars. We could do top 20 iconic cars. Oh, has it been confirmed to be Alex? I thought so. Alex is short for lots of different names. Alec. We're saying Alex, but it is usually Alec, isn't it? Not sure. Oh, I call him Alex. He doesn't seem to mind too much. He's been here. While you guys were gone, he's been here most of the time. Yeah, yeah. That's a tough language. I know that letter that looks like a little house, a little dog house. That's a D. I know that. Then there's a letter that looks like a flower, and I think that's a G. A J, a J, a J. Oh, I don't know. I went to Russia a couple times, and right before I went, and I tried to study up a little bit, learn a little bit, but if you don't use it, you lose it. I'd rather not know what she's saying about me anyway. Sometimes you just, you just want to tune it out. Oh, I think he's around. He'll be back. He was at a couple of our shows because he said he had like 3 or 4 days off of work. So I don't know what time of night it was where he lives, but I think he was able to come to a couple of shows because of that. Anyway, guys, we better call it. It's been a long one. And once again, hey, super appreciate you being here. We'll try to have as much fun as possible on each of our shows, and we'll just keep building it. So anyway, drop a line if you have anything to say. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on Sunday, maybe. Hopefully. Hope so. Hope so. Let's see. I think I still have an outro. Let's play the outro.
The night wears heels.
Oh, you were in the hospital
She
too.
struts alone. This bar's the place I call my home.
Well, are you out of the hospital now? Hopefully you're on the mend.
Swallow pride. Pretend the moonlight lights by my side.
All right, everybody.
Tell me, was it ever real?
Have a good one.
Or just a song you used to feel? I still burn. Still whisper your name when I break in for a shadow to take shape.